Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am going to talk to y'all today about one of my favorite topics, something I grew up learning how to do from my mom. Today I'm going to show y'all how to blanch peas. But first I want to go over what we're going to do. I want to tell you what blanching is, and I want to tell you what you need and how to blanch peas, and where to find fresh produce, and a tip on what I do to keep up with what I preserve every single year. So let's get into it, but first I want to show y'all a few clips I took at the actual farm market that I went to. So this is the closest farm to me, and I can count on them every year for fresh produce. Peas, peaches, tomatoes, squash, zucchini, all of the above. So I love it. So today we're going to do peas. So y'all check out a few of these clips from what I took at the farm. So here we go. All right, it's Saturday morning. It's 8:54. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm headed to the farm market, William L. Brown Farm Market. I'm going to try to see if they have any peas. I'm going to see what else they have. Maybe they got some other stuff like some corn or okra. Maybe I can show y'all a little video of the farm market. If anyone's never been to one, definitely support your local farmers. Okay, pulling up at the farm market. This is it, out in the middle of nowhere in country life. Woo-hoo. Yeah, we're about to dig in. So I do recommend you taking some cooler bags or a cooler and some ice packs, so that way when you're traveling home your fresh vegetables will stay cold, especially the peas. So I just use cooler bags and some ice packs. So let's talk to you about what is blanching. Blanching is a cooking process where you take your fresh produce and you're going to scald it in boiling water for a short amount of time, and then you're going to remove it from the boiling water and you're going to plunge it in an ice bath to stop the cooking process. That way you're not cooking this thoroughly, you're just blanching it to kill off the surface dirt and all that stuff. And what you're doing is you're stopping the enzyme actions that can cause a loss of flavor, texture, and color. So that way you're actually preserving all of those things. And you need to blanch your peas in order to freeze them so that you have them for a long period of time. Okay, so let me show you what you're going to need in order to blanch peas. I always get an 8-pound bag of peas, which is about equivalent to a bushel. Currently, in the year 2020, they're ranging anywhere from $25 to $35 a bag like this. I know it's expensive. The price has tremendously skyrocketed over the past few years, but hey, farming is expensive, and if you want fresh produce, it's worth it. I will tend to get a couple of different varieties of peas. So today I'm going to do butter beans and zipper peas. I also have done acre peas, cream 12s, pink eye purple hulls, black eyed peas, you name it. This applies to any of those type of peas. Okay, you're going to need some quart size freezer Ziploc bags. You're going to need a magic marker. You're going to need a really big pot. I have two 12-quart size pots that I use because I'm going to do both of these at the same time. But don't let this overwhelm you. Do one bag at a time if you're new to this. You're going to need some colanders so that when we plunge the peas into the ice bath, it's easy to lift it up out of the water and put it into some pans. I buy these white bins at like Kroger, Walmart, any grocery store in the kitchen cleaning section. You can find these bins. I've also taken those same bins and took a drill bit and drilled holes in the bottom. That way I can use this as a strainer in the sink as well, because it holds so much more than my regular strainers for other small stuff. So sometimes I use these. But again, don't feel like you have to get all these bins. Don't worry about that. Just use your 9x12, 9x13 pans or your colanders that you already have. It's okay. Okay, first thing I want to talk to y'all about is picking out your peas at the farm market. When you go pick them out, they need to be fresh. Don't be getting no peas that are 2-3 days old. No ma'am. Don't be scared to ask them, when did they pick and shell the peas? That's a common question. You just got to trust them that they're going to tell you the truth. Okay, one way that I tell when I pick out my peas is I look at the bag. If there's not a lot of slime, okay, and the biggest thing, look at the bottom. If the bottom is clean, you don't see a lot of slime, no brown, nothing like that. It's good as on the bottom as it is on the top. That's a good bag. Sometimes some places will let you open them up and smell them. If they smell sour, don't get them. These are my zipper peas, and these look pretty clean. It's not real slimy at all. So just make sure you just look for a clean, fresh bag. And again, don't be afraid to ask them when the peas were picked. Okay, so first I'm gonna wash the peas, and I always wash my peas twice. Okay, when you are rinsing your peas, just swirl the water around, swish them around, work your fingers in them. Try not to let any get away. But I'm just going to do this process twice just to really get the extra dirt off. If you see any bad peas in there, you can go ahead and pick them out, like this for instance. I just went ahead and picked those out. Look how dirty that water is. That's why you rinse them, and we're going to rinse them again. Okay, I've drained the water out of this first side of the sink, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it back up and rinse them again. Okay, one more thing to look for I failed to mention when you're picking out your peas. Make sure there's not a lot of trash and a lot of bad peas in there. If it's clean and you don't see a whole lot of bad looking peas and a bunch of trash, meaning trash is in like this, the pieces of the shell, if y'all can see that. Pieces of the shell and like the hole that the pea was in, that's a good farm market. That's a good bag of peas. Go on and get it. All right, the second rinse of water is not as dirty. Again, y'all don't have to use these white bins. You can use your own you can use your own colander that you have in your kitchen, okay? Now we're gonna fill up this quart with water, and I'm gonna dump my peas in. Bring enough water to cover them and give them about 1 inch of water at the top. Okay, let's bring your peas over to the stove, and we're going to turn it on high. And that's going to take a while for that to bring to a boil, but once it does, we're going to boil this for 6 minutes. Okay, and while I'm waiting on that to come to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and get my second bag of peas ready because I'll have plenty of time. Like I said, that's going to take a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ready, get them cleaned and washed up. Okay, y'all. So as the water starts getting warm and right before it comes to a boil and right as it boils at the beginning, you're going to see a lot of white foamy stuff. So I want to show y'all that. What I do is I just scoop it off. I skim it off the top and I put it in a bowl off to the side. Okay, if y'all can see me, I'm so much taller than my camera. I'm setting the timer for 6 minutes. It started to come to a boil, and I'm going to continue to get this off the top. Just skim it off. Just like that. Got our timer set for 6 minutes, and as soon as I can, look, there we go. See them peas? Y'all, it smells so good in here. Okay, as you can see, the foam has died down, and it's a rolling boil. And I'm gonna stop with that. I've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. I'm gonna go fill the sink up with ice and water to get ready to dump this in an ice bath. Okay, so I've washed my straining pan, my strainer, homemade strainer. And I'm filling this up with water right now, some on cold tap water. And I'm gonna dump some ice in it in just a minute. Dump the ice in. So my ice melted really fast, and I really probably should have bought a bag of ice at the store. So I'm gonna run cold water over it because that water that this was sitting in got warm really fast. So I'm gonna just use cold water to cool it down. Since my ice water, I didn't have enough ice. Make sure you have enough ice for this. Should have had it a lot colder. That's okay. It'll be fine. It's cooling off. Okay, so now that I've got the peas cooled off with cold water, cold ice water, I'm going to put that pan into 2 separate pans so it cools off even more and get it at room temperature. Then we'll bag it. These are already cool to the touch, so I pretty much can go ahead and bag these. So let me get the butter beans going and I'll come back. Okay, so I counted out 15 bags. I'm doing 1.5 cup of peas per bag. That is for 2 people, me and my husband. Sometimes I have a little bit of leftovers left over. So 2 things. If you have a bigger family and or if you want leftovers, you might need more than 1.5 cup per bag. So take that into consideration. Okay, so I like to write on my bags. I like to write on what it is and the year and maybe where it came from. Zippers 2020, and I'll put for William L. Brown Farm Market. Okay, after I write on my bags, I go ahead and open them all. Just like that. Okay, so make sure that these are cool to the touch all the way through. Like, cool. No warm, nothing. Do not bag your peas if your peas are still warm. That's why I separate them out. You let them sit, go on and do another batch, or go clean the kitchen. So now I'm gonna bag them up. Like I said, I do 1.5 cups per bag. Okay, and once you have all your peas in your bags, you want to get as much air out of them as possible. I like to do the flat method. That's how I put them in my freezer. So I'll just push them out like this and push the air out. And I stack them, and that's how I stack them in my freezer. My mom does it this way. She does a fold over method, and she stacks hers in there like that. I prefer flat. It's personal preference. Whatever works for you. So, once I get all these done, then we'll just go place them in the freezer. Okay, y'all, so my peas are all bagged up. They're ready to go in the freezer. So I want to go over where to find fresh produce. Okay, so you're gonna have to go on the internet, go to Facebook, and look up farm markets near you. In the state of Georgia, they list certified farm markets in the Georgia Farm Bureau pamphlet, and it is listed with all the counties that have certified Georgia farm markets. So that's a really great resource. If you're in another state, you might have to do the same thing. Look in your agriculture department for the state and see if they have anything listed on their website. That's about the only way I know how to tell you how to find a farm market. Usually they do try to advertise because they do want people to come and enjoy the fresh produce and all the things that they offer. So because agriculture is so important. So I really hope you take the time to try to find a farm market. Support your local farmers. They really need your support, and I'm sure they will appreciate you just as much as you appreciate them. Okay, and for my tip for y'all, if you get into preserving your produce or canning, any type of that thing that you decide you want to do year after year, the best thing to do is get you a notebook. Y'all know I'm all about that notebook life, writing stuff down. What this does is help me reference the year before, what I got, how much it was, how much I used, because when I started doing this several years back, I could not remember how many cups I put in a bag and how much I needed for just me and Philip. So anyways, that's very helpful for you. So that way, say one year you do 2 cups per bag, and throughout that year you realize it's not enough or it's way too much, you can go back in and make you some notes on your notebook. And then the next year, you'll know whether or not you need to add more or take away from how much you put in your bag. So I definitely highly recommend a book and writing things down every single year. This has helped me tremendously and definitely helps me see how much the cost of fresh produce has increased over the years. But you know what? I feel like it's so important to support these farmers. So, okay, so what we're gonna go through next is some things that I thought about during this whole process when I was videoing, and I took down some notes for y'all, okay? Some quick little tips, things that I just remembered that I feel like is very important for you, okay? Okay, so when you are blanching and doing this whole process, do not salt or season your peas. Plain water, that's it. Okay, second, get you a bag of ice. Make sure you have a good solid ice bath, because when you put those peas in it, it's gonna melt that ice fast, okay? But your peas will cool down instantly, and you really want your peas to be plunged in a good ice cold bath to stop that cooking process. Okay, some of you are probably wondering, what the heck was that white foam stuff whenever it comes to a boil? And the best way that I know to explain it is just to read you what the internet says, okay? It's not that complicated. And yes, it's safe. So the foam itself is caused by a water-soluble protein in the beans, which lowers the surface tension of the cooking water. However, it contains no harmful ingredients, and if left, it simply gets absorbed back into the cooking liquid. Okay, the last thing that I do want to tell you, if you do this, you need to plan ahead. I do not recommend you buying fresh peas on a Monday and waiting till Saturday to put them away. You know, the longer they sit, then they're gonna start getting slimy and just starting to age and get older. So same day, minimum next day, okay? So plan it out. Okay, and then one more thing, and I'm gonna let y'all go. So let's talk about cost, okay? So the butter beans were $25 a bushel, which is the 8-pound bag. I got 15 bags out of that at 1.5 cups each. So that's $1.67 per bag. So for dinner one night, that's $1.67 for a side vegetable. I feel like that's pretty dang cheap, pretty good, okay? I mean, how much is a can of beans at the store? 99 cents, $1.29. Fresher is better, baby. The zippers, a bushel, which is an 8-pound bag, those were $35. These have definitely went up in price. Last year they were $32 a bag, and the year before that, in 2018, they were $29 a bushel. So in 2 years, they've went up $5, $6. So yeah, they've gotten really pricey. I'm very surprised. When I first started doing this, like years and years ago, I remember when they were $15 a bushel. Whew, where are them days? Back to the zippers. I got 1.5 cups each bag. That's what I do for all of my peas. I got 14 bags this time. One of these is $2.50 a bag. I really love zipper peas. I love eating this with a bag of fresh cream corn. Whew. Favorite combination ever. I've got 29 bags here. That's 2 bags a month. I've got sides planned. So, and if I go get more, which I still have some left over in the freezer from last year, I got plenty of peas for the year. So I am good and I'm set. This took me one day, a couple of hours, probably less if I wasn't videoing. But this is a very fast process. I highly recommend it. If you've got questions, let me know. So let's go put these in the freezer and let's wrap this up, and I gotta get another snack. Okay, y'all, that wraps it up for me in this video and showing y'all how to blanch peas. I will try to provide as much information down in the description below the video. So if you got any questions, again, hit me up. And don't forget to subscribe if you're liking this. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you next time.